Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
All very simple figures. Most of Lord of the Rings is all really simple but beautifully put together.
That simple stuff is actually really hard to mock up as well. Sometimes the hardest thing to do.
It's because he's just got rid of all the other brass apart from horns. I'm a former horn player, so I'm allowed to say that.
Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be doing a mock-up of a classic piece from Lord of the Rings using some of the libraries in our sale. This is an incredible piece of music called Many Meetings, one of my favorite cues from Fellowship of the Ring. We're going to go step by step and build it up. The first thing I'm going to do is get these first 4 bars in, and we're going to go through that and show you how those bars are layered up and really show you all the different textures and sounds there and how you can get them from all these different libraries. Okay, so we're going to start with the basses. Now in this piece, the basses are divided for some of it, and that's a technique that Howard Shore uses quite a lot. It's a really interesting thing when you divide basses. So we're going to start here. I'm going to write all this stuff in today rather than making you guys watch me play it. So we're going to have... I'm going to copy that over. Copy that over, and we're going to enable that. And we're just going to do some basic modulation here as well. Beautiful. Do you hear how rich that characteristic is? It's a really nice tone and well worth experimenting with. And I'm doing this using Dolce. I'm going to probably be blending Nucleus and Dolce today. Dolce's got this beautiful emotional lyrical quality that's going to be useful particularly when writing the main melodies, and it's got this incredible room sound as well. I just love the sound of Dolce, but I think Nucleus is going to help us too. Sometimes those slightly more neutral sounding strings are actually really useful. Okay, so we've got that line in. Let's go and put this cello line in. We're going to be starting on this A. So we have this, and you might recognize this already. Okay, and I just want to make sure I'm in the right, bring that up an octave here. Now this isn't really loud in the original piece, so we don't want to make this a huge front and center line, but we just want to be able to hear it coming over the top here. So maybe something like that. I'm writing in a super simple curve here. Nice, sounding good. And we're just going to copy that over. It starts in A major, then it goes down to this F, but pretty much the exact same figure. So we have this. Right, that sounded good. Now, probably the stars of the show here are harmonics, and I've actually got a few harmonic patches here. Let me just load up my Dolce viola harmonics too. So we have these beautiful harmonics sitting over the top. Now what I'm going to do is actually blend 2 different libraries here, and one that you might not expect. I'm going to blend Dolce, which again has harmonics. The harmonics sound beautiful, but because it's in this room, this beautiful warm room, you don't get some of the bow sound or some of the intimacy of the harmonics, but we can actually get them using quite a different library. Photosynthesis has a whole bunch of cello harmonics. Let me just play some of these and you're going to get an idea of what we have here. Now what I've done is just pan these to the left, put them where the violins are. These are not going to be the centerpiece of what we do. We're just going to use these to kind of add texture and a little bit of intimacy to the violins and the violas. Let's put these in. So what we can do now is just copy and paste these down here. And again, nice simple chords. So just make sure we don't have them too loud. Bring them down to roughly where these are. And then we're going to do the same thing with our violas. And they're just doing down here. Make sure we've got those viola harmonics there. So all those harmonics together sound like this. Got a bit of gentle movement in there, nothing too much. Now what I'm going to do is come down to these cello harmonics. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Again, just gentle swelling, nothing too much. That looks good to me. Let's listen to how everything comes together here. Right, it's subtle, but it's adding a lot there. It's really helping to sort of bring those harmonics to the fore, which is what we want here. Okay, we're pretty much done with our strings for this section. Let's maybe move on to the chimes. Now, this has these really beautiful chimes at the beginning of this piece of music. We're going to use our tubular bells. And they're going to play really quietly. And they're just playing this beautiful descending quarter note figure here. So... but obviously very quiet. And again, all very simple figures. Most of Lord of the Rings is all really simple but beautifully put together. So let's have a listen to that in context. Beautiful. This piece is already coming to life. Now we have some woodwinds, some bassoons here, and they're pretty much just playing what the double basses are playing. So I'm using the Nucleus solo bassoon here. Bring that down a tiny bit. Sounds really nice. And again, all these lovely kind of rich, warm, low end harmonies going together, these fifths and things like that. Just have this really beautiful kind of ancient sound that I think is so, you know, synonymous with Lord of the Rings. Nice. The next thing that we have here is the horns. Now the horns are playing these chords, pretty straightforward. Let me just pop them in the Nucleus solo horns. I may support them with another instrument as well. So they're playing, again, really simple lines, nothing special going on here. Let's just grab all of this. Bring this down a tiny bit, have a listen to that. Beautiful. Now to give this a bit more depth, again, sometimes when you want to try and get the best of both worlds, you can layer libraries together. I wonder if we can do something with Poseidon here. So maybe let's take a look at our two horns core here and just copy this over. We're literally going to copy it over, have a listen in isolation. You can see I've taken some of the low and high here just to put this more in the space and put them together nicely with the solo horns. So we're getting, see how they combine together? Neither feels quite complete without the other, and that's often the way, or the best way to work when you're doing mock-ups, is to combine libraries together and think about the qualities they bring. The Nucleus solo horn obviously has that lovely solo horn character where you get the individual notes played by one player, and then the Poseidon two horns is the two horns playing together, which gives a bit more body and also a slightly different room, which has a bit more kind of warmth and presence, which I think just works brilliantly when you put these two together. One of the big things that we have going on here are these vocals. So these, we're going to use the slow syllables from chorus to put these in, to squash these dynamics down a tiny bit. So we don't want it to swell up too much. We just want a little bit of a swell as we head up into this next chord. Beautiful. What we can do here as well, if I just show you inside of chorus, we have this release control. So velocity's over 63. You can change this if you want to, but I've got it set at 63 here. Anywhere around there is fine. So let's do 67. Velocity's over 67, trigger an S release. So you get more of a S at the end of the sounds of the syllables. And anything below that doesn't trigger the S. And that is something that we don't want, I think, for this. Maybe for this last syllable here, but if you listen to this little section, when you hear the S every time, it sounds a bit strange. So it's, we don't really want that. If I take all this down, have a listen now. So that's how this piece begins. Obviously the chords change and everything kind of flows and evolves, but it's all essentially this orchestration. So I'm going to get the next few bars in. Okay, so I've got the first few bars of this done. It's much the same as the first 4 bars that we did together. Everything pretty much carries on the same. You can see we have these harps, we have the vocals down the bottom here, the choir. The only thing that really changes in any great capacity is a little bit of a change where with the cello drop out into these sus here. So then where the cello were originally playing this sort of up and down figure here, that then moves to the English horn. So we have an English horn inside of solo, and I'm just using that here. Let me show you what that sounds like. Beautiful character. I'm just doing a little bit of mixing here. sounds more like this, which is beautiful, but a bit more upfront than we want here. This we're trying to emulate that sound of really the whole orchestra in a hall together. But it's all pretty straightforward stuff. It's just taking some of those frequencies out that are a bit sort of obtrusive. And again, this is all on a mock-up by mock-up basis. If we were doing something different, we may not want to do any mixing, or we may want to mix it completely differently. I'm going to do the rest of this beautiful melody here. So this is where Dolce is really going to shine, because Dolce has this beautiful inbuilt sort of lyrical quality. With Dolce, you have to do really very limited programming to get this beautiful, warm, emotional sound. And this is really important for Lord of the Rings because it's a very minimal piece. So you have nothing to fall back on. You can't use pads and sound design and lots of different layers. You really just have to have the strings sort of sing, and Dolce is beautiful at this. So let me show you what this sounds like. Have a listen to this. Love the way that Dolce sounds. It's perfect for this kind of music. The rest of the lines are beautifully simple, and that's part of the charm of this music. It's just that it's so straightforward and simple. So let me show you. Let me build this up layer by layer. Second violins are just playing these really simple notes. And here we can use our sustain pedal to trigger. Dolce has this beautiful feature of repetition, so you can have two notes play the same and we get a beautiful legato repetition between them. So let me show you what that sounds like. And I'm just going to sort of write in a quick curve here. We just kind of want a general swell. Have a listen to this. So our viola is doing the exact same thing as the violins, but just in that next sort of voice down. As we begin building this up layer by layer, you get this really beautiful sound emerging. So one of the hallmarks of Lord of the Rings, which is just beautiful, a lot of inverted chords. So let me just show you what I mean. We literally have this going on. And then we have C, E minor, to F. But then this time we have the C major with the E in the bass, first inversion. So really nice. Really beautiful, and this happens right the way through this soundtrack. It's just such a nice way to voice things. So we can just carry on in the same vein here. Pretty much the whole thing carries on as this, with just mostly strings. We go through some different chords. We introduce the horns back, but it's pretty much what they were doing in the beginning of the piece, just these lovely long chords. So I'm going to go and do the next sort of 15-20 bars, and then we'll get through to the final section of the piece.
Right, Adam is here to present his version of many meetings from Lord of the Rings. Let's take a listen. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It's a great piece of music, isn't it?
Simple yet absolutely stunning.
Was it weird being able to replicate a composer's style and actually get to use their theme?
It was. I was wondering how to do it. I was like, "Where's my Jerry Goldsmith? Where's my Nick Gordon?" You know. But no, this is really good fun. Like Tom said, really simple but really effective.
And it's hard. That simple stuff is actually really hard to mock up as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do.
I want to see how you've done this, please.
Okay, let's share the screen.
I reckon I could name most of the libraries that you've used, but it's fun. Actually, I do have a question. There was like, at the beginning, there was like this, like, in the back of a mixer, like a harp, but it was like processed harp.
So it's basically it's the Nucleus harp.
It is the Nucleus harp, okay.
It's sort of pushed. I've used some EQ and some like reverb basically to kind of push it into the background a bit, you know. So it sounds on its own. Sounds a bit weird in isolation, but it's not as upfront as it usually is, you know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I wondered.
Sounds like it's in like a orchestra hall. Nice.
Because
it makes so much.
Yeah, I was referencing the original, you know, and it has that feeling. Because obviously it's all recorded at wherever it was, Abbey Road and a few other places. But you know, the harp is like up towards the back in the corner, or you know, it's certainly away from the mic, so you get that depth to it.
Super nice. What have you done for strings?
I did it on Nucleus first. I was just sort of mocking it up, and then I ended up using a combination of like Dolce and Nucleus. Sometimes that's really nice because you get all the beautiful emotion from Dolce, but you get a slight more stability from Nucleus. You know? So you put them together and you just get both. So you can hear like Nucleus on its own. It's just these two. It's the second violin.
So its stability meaning like it's
because the Dolce has so much.
No,
the Dolce has so much vibrato in it though that sometimes it can be not shaky, but you know it has that kind of motion to it. And if you just want something that's a little bit more kind of sat there, so I can show you like these on their own. That's just Nucleus, which sounds beautiful. Yeah. And then Dolce on its own sounds like this. Then you put Nucleus in.
Yeah.
Like for those support lines in the middle, it just keeps it a bit more even, you know.
Dolce's just made for those kind of melodies.
Well, that's it. Dolce made this so easy because I mean, I've done obviously programming in this. I can show you guys, but it's not that much really. You know, it's all pretty straightforward. Yeah. But if you listen to it in isolation, it just sounds so kind of emotional, you know. There's so much in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So yeah, Dolce is just so. Is
there pits in there too?
There isn't
is that
pits.
Just in the sample?
It's in the sample, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So yeah, it's one of the things in the sample that you know just kind of comes out. There is pits later on in the piece, so I can show you. There's some Dolce pits, and also
but it sounded so realistic. It was really cool.
It's really nicely in there, and then you get this
spiccato and pizzicato. Nice.
So just really quietly in the background. And that's being supported by the harp
in the room as well, right? Like that's the sound you're getting from, and that's
it's so great. You know, it's got such a beautiful kind of warmth to it. It really feels like it's kind of live and there. So yeah,
amazing.
Just nice, simple. Then with the harp, a bit more of a motor. Everything else just sounds really nice.
Oh, and then you've got the solo.
You've got Nucleus solo clarinet.
Which I'm actually just using, I used a combination. For the English horn in the beginning, I used solo, which I really like. Sounds great.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, I did put it on solo clarinet originally from the solo library, but I ended up just slightly preferring, in this instance, the solo clarinet from Nucleus. Nucleus soloists are absolutely incredible. Sometimes they are the best choice. So this is a combination. You'll see in the beginning we have the solo English horn from solo doing this. And then later on we have the solo clarinet from Nucleus doing this. And then at the end, I actually combined the solo flute from Nucleus and the solo flute from solo together to just create this kind of almost like our two section playing this. So...
Ooh,
really nice to slide. Sounds so much
I haven't
thicker
tried that
than just
before,
one.
actually, layering them together like that to give you kind of two, but you'll get the differences between the two performances. Nice.
It worked really well, and then there's a clarinet in there as well. So that's that section. So yeah, that's sometimes a really good thing as well. If you've got solo and Nucleus, combining those soloists and getting more of a kind of Atu section, mix them in a little bit, and they work really well together.
And even just the natural difference in the sample and the libraries and the recordings will kind of create that Atu without you having to really do anything.
Yeah, it sounds really, really well, because like you said, it's sort of like this slight discrepancies in pitch and stuff, but all that stuff actually really helps to make it sound more realistic and musical.
Amazing.
And yeah, only other thing to show you guys is the brass, which is very simple. But again, I ended up using a combination of Poseidon, which sounded really nice. But I ended up keeping the original Nucleus solo horn in there as well, which I really liked as well. So on its own.
Oh. Yeah.
And then together you just get the best of both these worlds.
Lord of the Rings in a box.
Yeah. Sounds so good, and without...
Next chord. Come on. I want to hear it. Yes.
So simple, so effective.
Gorgeous.
But they really help just kind of,
How is it, like, come on, Lord of the Rings, what is it about it that Howard Shore just got it right?
I don't know,
like, perfect.
it just sounds so
no
ancient,
notes.
doesn't
It's
it,
just...
It sounds so ancient, so kind of like...
And it's voicings, I think, and like voice leading and just leaving that correct amount of space.
The voicings are so simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just kind of block chords in a way, It's like, it's everything they tell you not to do.
It's not even necessarily voice leading, because you have this kind of like, kind of very blocky piano, but it sounds beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, these are the way they're voiced, I think, pretty much in the piece. And it's so unique. I think, like you said, had you made it more traditionally voice-led, it wouldn't have quite the same kind of feel. It just sounds so kind of like primal in a
almost
way.
Almost like
from another
regal
world.
as well, like almost like...
Yeah.
It's just because he's just got rid of all the other brass apart from horns, because they're just the best.
Horns are fantastic.
I'm a former horn player, so I'm allowed to say that.
So yeah, that's most of this. The only other thing is chorus, which always sounds incredible, just using the slow syllables. So, and again, great unison to start with, and then it splits into this chord. And then the second time round, you get a slightly different, like a major seventh.
Okay, Adam, I've got a question at the beginning then.
Yes.
How you have them in unison. What are you doing? Is that the same sample? Are you pitching it down and doing like that transposition trick?
I did a very slight different pitch thing, and also it's because it's different. I didn't use the vowel, the syllable creator, so it's using a different syllable as well. So you're not getting that same thing,
Got
but
it. I was going to say, if it's
so there's
the
not
same...
any phasing or weirdness or anything,
Got it.
And then
So
obviously
they're
where it
singing
splits.
different vowels?
They're singing different vowels, yeah.
So one isn't a vowel? Or one is just a legato?
They're both vowels, but they're singing different
You've got
vowels
to bring
because
your
it's
GUIs
random.
up. Show me
You've got to show us
I
that.
want
We
to
need to see the UIs, man. Come on.
Wait.
Oh.
This is when we find out they're not singing different vowels. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's all
They
just
should be,
story.
because they're on... Oh yeah, this has been changed. See? Oh, no, they're not. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Nice.
So they're sort of behind each other,
Okay.
So yeah, this one's sort of behind this one.
So you don't have phasing. I see.
Yeah.
Smart.
So you basically made a soprano and alto section by having the syllables.
Yeah,
being out of
I did
phase.
do a little pitch as well, but yeah, that way
you
then
can do that. You can just pitch it down in contact by 2 semitones, and then with the transpose thing in Cubase, you can then just pitch it up by 2, and then you can play the same note and never have phasing.
Yeah.
Just for people that might be like, what on earth of kind of wizardry is he talking about? Why would you want to do that?
Because if you are playing, like Adam has 2 lines there, can you open up the MIDI just so we can see Adam, like at the beginning?
Sure.
This is a whole side quest
So
of
this part
extra
here?
programming stuff. But if you go right to the beginning, Adam has 2 different patches playing the same notes, and then they separate out to play that chord. So that chord would be fine, but if you have the exact same sample, so like the same syllable, same sample, playing at the same time, so what can happen is if you have the exact same sample triggering at the same time twice, any variation in that, if one starts slightly later than the other in your MIDI, then you can get phasing. Or even if you mix one slightly differently than the other, then you're technically doing the same audio, but one's being mixed differently, and that can cause like weird phasing issues. To get around that, what you can do is pitch it down by 2 semitones in contact, just in the like global setting, and then in Cubase you can, or any DAW, you can then pitch it up, or like transpose it by 2 semitones up, so it's still playing the same note, but you're triggering different samples then.
Great. Well, it's all this stuff, but honestly, superb work, Adam. It sounds fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And
Yeah, really, really
Photosynthesis
cool.
cello harmonics. What's that? What's going on there?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
these ended up being very quiet in the final mix. So I can just show you on their own. You might be able to hear them if I bring them up a bit.
Yeah, they're so raw.
Is that just adding top?
It's just adding, yeah. If I just bring them up a tiny bit in the mix, because they are actually a tiny bit. There we go. They're just adding like a closeness alongside these Dolce. So,
Yeah. Because that's really smooth in like a bigger ensemble.
yeah.
But then
and then you get the bow sound, you
Yeah.
know, with this.
hidden gem within photosynthesis.
Beautiful.
I think the biggest thing I've learned from you two is that you like to add high-end sprinkles somewhere. Whether it's a
Yeah,
Saz
yeah.
or what did you do the other day, Tom? You did something.
Whispers over a shout.
Yeah, whispers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
shouts. Just high-end.
But
Yeah.
you can't artificially boost it. It's got to be in the recording, which is why you use
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so there you go. That is Adam's version of Many Meetings from Lord of the Rings using some of the libraries in our catalogue. We also have a new permanent bundle for you in our store called the Studio Collection. Chorus, Nucleus, Photosynthesis and Solar are all included in that bundle, and you can save almost 40% off if you are interested in picking them up. So head on over to audioimperia.com/shop to grab yourselves a deal. Thank you boys so much for your work. Adam, fantastic work as always. That is the end of this video. We will see you next week. Cheers!